go to the layer menu in Affinity Photo and new layer. Then go over here to the gradient tool and create a very quick gradient, white to black. Probably defaults to that, always is for me. You can go to the swatches panel. You can find that in the view menu and studio. All the various panels are there, and swatches, as well as macro and layers. Now I'm just going to click one of these. It's in the gradients category. You can put them into any category, so it could be elsewhere, but gradients. Now this is a rainbow design. This rainbow design, please check out my video on how to create a rainbow design. So you've got this gradient. Now what I can do, I can distort things. However, what I'm going to do, because there's no presets with equations, which is odd, it seems to be lacking in that for some weird reason, you can record a macro. So just go over here to the macro panel. Again, view menu, studio, and macro. Start the recording. So it's recording. And now I can go to filters. Now I wanted to do it after I created the gradient. Obviously I didn't want to store the gradient. I want to store the effect. So now I can go down to distort and equations. So it's just down there. And unfortunately it starts out x equals x, y equals y, which is not very handy, and Cartesian and radians, which is fine. Those are also mirror. I'm going with the mirror for the extend mode. Just happens to be my favourite one for that one. Now I've got the equations in on a web page, so please check out my web page. It's a patchwork-effect-photo.htm. That's on the Graphicxtras website. I've got loads of other ones as well, so you can find all the formulas there. And now I'm just going to copy it. You could create a text file, a notepad, just create something, store it away. I just happen to have it on my web pages. And then I can paste it in. So that's the X one. And you can see what it does. It just creates basically straight lines. Now, if you were using a grayscale design or a blue gradient, you would end up with obviously more blue and whites or whatever it is in there. But obviously with this one, it's a rainbow one, so you get this sort of rainbow colour. What you can also do, again, obviously Y. So I'm just going to go back to my Dreamweave document, and I'm just going to copy that one as well. Now, it's not cast in stone, this thing. So you can just turn around and say, you know what, and just paste it in. So I've got that. Unfortunately, you can't drag this out. You can't drag it further out. Be nice if you could, but you can't. Now, I haven't got a C parameter, so I can add a C parameter. You can notice I've got here 20. So I can put bracket C times 20, bracket. And that modifies the C, where the 20 there. So it makes, instead of like 20, I might end up with like 11 or 12. Now you can edit it, of course. You don't have to do that. You could put, but then I'm going to go C times 20. You don't have to have any order, so you can put it the other way around. So it'd be 20 times C or 10 times C. Doesn't matter. And again, you can vary this. Maybe make that 20, or have that C there as well. Or maybe go and make it 5. You can just do anything with the equation. If you make a mistake, it will just display it in red. It will just say, oh, you know what, can't do it. And then you can modify the C, and you can see the effect there. So maybe, I think, to be honest, it should be the other way around to make it bigger. So you can see it. So you can see as you do that. And also, you can drag this out. And this is the B and the A. There's no particular reason I could have it the other way around. So you could have A as the one and B as the other one. It doesn't matter. There's no particular logic to the order of it. So you can see now you can modify that, and you can change that. You can tweak that. However, what you can also do, and you might think, you know what, I've got that equation already. I might want something slightly different. All I can do, I can go to, and this is the thing, it would be nice if you could resize the panel. You can always put bracket Rx minus Ry. And then you can see you get some really weird abstract designs there. It's a more diagonal. Whenever you put like Rx minus Ry or something like that, it becomes a diagonal effect, depending obviously on the size of the document, the dimensions of. And then you can put minus that, minus Rx, and you can try other ones. And then you've got another one here. So Rx, I put bracket around it, so, and then Ry, or maybe plus. You can always try plus. Just put plus there. And you can see you get a different result. And again, Ry plus Rx. And again, what you can do, you can always turn around and say, oh, you know what, 2 or 3 times that. Maybe not. Maybe Rx divided by 3 to make it sort of slightly less dye sort of going off in the dark. You can just modify it by using a divide by 3 or times by 3 just to modify it against the RY. So you've got this equation. You've got the extend mode, you've got that, and you can vary this, and you can whole range of things. You squeeze it like that. So you've got your thing. Mirror, make certain it's in mirror, and you can click apply. And now, whoops, hitting the mouse there, I've got my equation there. And I could apply some other ones. So I could go and create another filter, apply some more effects, apply the thing again, maybe go for repeat equations. You could do a couple of different things. However, I just want to record this here. And I'm going to stop it now. And you can just go up here, stop recording. So stop recording. And now what you can do is you can add it to your library. Add it to the library just by clicking there. It's very little, doesn't particularly, it's not obvious that that's what it means, but that adds it to your library, stores it away for future use. And the whole thing is stored away. So, because you might not want to create it again. So you just click there and then you can say add macro, it goes default, and I'm just going to say equation 1. Very original. So I know what it is later. Anyway, I've got it stored away. Now I can run it. So I'm just going to undo it now. Obviously I don't want that, so I can just undo the whole thing, put it back to that. Maybe change mine. I don't want that gradient. I want a different gradient, different angle. I maybe go for radial. So just tweak it, change it in a number of ways. And of course the result will be different. So now I can go up to this equation and I can just go run it. And you can see the result. So if I go there and let's just change the gradient. So I've got a different gradient, run it again, and you can see the result. It doesn't store the gradient. That's the thing. Don't put the gradient into the macro. If you do, then you're just going to get the same thing. But if you go for a different gradient, you can modify this gradient, you can tweak it, and then you can run it again. And you can get all kinds of different effects using this approach. However, you'll notice here there's a little, and I'm just going to undo that, and I'm going to put it back to this one. I like that colour, the rainbow gradient. You got here, little gear, and you can click there and you can see what you can do. Now you can't modify the equation at this point. Well, you can't, that's it, unless you reproduce it. That's why it's probably best to write it into a notepad or on a web page, something like useful like that. You can if you want. Please feel free to use it. There's no, what's the name, I've created it. Please feel, whatever you want to do, extend it further, make even more changes, tweaks to it to create even more amazing designs. Always great. Well, now what you can do is you can modify this. However, you can see it doesn't do anything. These need to be switched on. And the way you do it, slightly fiddly process, and I have to say it would be nice if they did it slightly different, but because it comes up each time. Parameter A, yeah. Perfectly happy with that. Parameter B, yep. Okay. And it's still, to me, it's slightly a bit fiddly. Personally, I don't know why they just didn't go for just do the whole lot. I want them all on. I want them all just set in the thing and just use the default value. Parameter A, B, C, etc. Now when you run it, so you run it again, and what happens? It pops up with this parameter A and B. So that's what it happened. It just means that you can tweak things. So the macro isn't fixed in stone. It's not like you can use it. Now, this hasn't been saved. Now, I saved the equation, but I didn't save the parameters. So you might have to just go and define it again as a library entry. But I just, obviously, because I suddenly thought, oh, you know what, I'm going to show the parameter bit. You can see you can tweak it. But this feature obviously will not be saved. So you'd have to recreate it if you're going to use it again. I'm certain that is not stored away. You wouldn't know about it. So you can click apply and you can see it's generated that. Well, what you can also do, of course, is you can always, with these things, you can go to layer and fade equations. So you can fade equation and you can see now the result of that. Fade, you can fade it backwards and forwards in between that. Maybe go for lighten or linear or soft, hard light, and so on. Or maybe go and apply another effect. So filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Let's just apply Gaussian blur and you got that design. Well, you can do exactly the same still with this equation. You can run it again. And again, pops up. got the result there, and you can again tweak these values, and you can see as you do that, you can change it, heart's content, you can create all kinds of very abstract designs just using that macro feature, that macro recording parameter feature. And again, I think probably best just to do that. Click OK. Okay, I think it's just saved it again back to that. Hopefully it saved it. I haven't tried that, so my apologies if it doesn't actually doesn't have that feature, but you certainly can have it there, and that's which is really useful. So it's stored away in the library. That's in the View menu, Studio, and Library. And you can run it again. Of course, you can just run it again and again and again. It will come up. Though, of course, eventually it becomes like that. Tweak it. I don't know what on earth it looks like now. It looks a very odd shape and design. But still. And also you can modify these as well. You can turn around and say you want wrap or things. So they're available as well. And click apply again. So, hope you found this of interest. Thank you much.